Ryan Sullivan, head coach, Bowdoin softball. I think one of the reasons that you would choose to come to Bowdoin and choose to be part of our softball program is we have a winning culture. This is a place that one of our goals every year is to strive to compete to win the NESCAC championship. We have great people here, and that is something that I think is said too many times and too easily, but it really, Bowdoin's a great place. We have good people on our team. This is a great place to go to school. And what we ask our players to do is get themselves immersed into the campus community so that they aren't just a softball player, they're a Bowdoin student. I would describe my coaching philosophy really in two parts. I think the first thing that we always look at is we want to win. Our kids are very competitive, and we've kind of built a culture around that. It's certainly not the end-all be-all, which kind of leads to part two, which would be we want our kids to have a great experience. It's not all about just the winning. There has to be other things that fall into this, and they have to feel very good about being part of the program, feel good about themselves, and feel good about their place on campus as well. Well, I think whenever we're talking to prospective students that are looking at Bowdoin, and in our case, looking at the softball program, you know, the biggest piece of advice I always try to give them is they have to advocate for themselves. You know, I always use this example that on average there's probably four, maybe five, but typically four first years on every softball program in the NESCAC. There are 10 schools that play, so that'd be 40 kids. And I always kind of just ask them the question of, are you one of the 40 kids that's going to end up in one of these schools? And you have to advocate for yourself. If you're not asking the hard questions of coaches, and you're not sending your resume or sending your transcript, then somebody else is, and they'll be ahead of you in the process. So, and finally, I always advise them, never shut a door. Keep all your options open. I think it's important for student athletes to really be looking at a pool of schools and really never shut that door behind them until they really have that final acceptance letter somewhere, and then they can move on from there. I really think that the Bowdoin experience is more than just their softball experience, and I really try to emphasize that with our players. If I just focus on softball, we want it to be awesome. I mean, I want it to be something where when they come back for their fifth reunion, or when they're walking across the stage on graduation day and shaking the president's hand, I want at some point there have to be some recognition that Bowdoin softball was a great part of my time here and I loved it. If they can have that feeling, then you know I've done my job, the team has done their job, and the school to some effect has done its job. So kind of in the same vein, I want them to be able to sit there and say, I love going to Bowdoin College. And whether softball was part of their experience or whether it wasn't, that has to be true in and of itself after 4 years of spending time here, that there are just so many great things that they can take away from this place, and that they really cash in on some of those opportunities.